In this video, we're going to demonstrate how you can use the tools provided to prepare, carve and manage a carvery ham. First, let's make sure it's safe. When we first receive the carvery ham in, we need to make sure that the product isn't damaged in any way. We're looking for a pink colour on the ham and make sure that the packaging isn't blown. Also, now is a great time to visually check the date coding. Make sure any information that's on the outer label is transferred to the ticket on the counter. With the carvery ham, we're going to open it with scissors. We use the red scissors as it's a ready-to-eat product. Some colleagues will choose to use a knife, but we'd prefer that you didn't do this, as it might blunt the knife, which will lead to further problems. Once you've opened the carvery ham, it's important that we always handle it using tear paper. We need to remove the plastic cover that sits over the shank end. This is here to protect the product so that it doesn't pierce the outer packaging during transit. This should not be displayed on the counter. We need to clean the bone end to make sure that there's no discoloration of the bone. We wouldn't want it to look unfresh for our customers. We do this by using the 4-inch paring knife. This is a serrated knife that you find on the deli counter only. Now we're going to move on to the breading stage. Remember, we'll only be using the breadcrumb sachet which comes in the box with a traditional carvery ham. Use a large gastronome tray, place the joint in it, and then carefully sprinkle the sachet of breadcrumbs over the top, making sure that they stick to the outer of the joint. Remove the carvery from the gastronome pan and place it onto the carvery plate. This should be done using the 2 handles which are then fitted into the carvery support board. For colleague comfort, the support board can be used left-handed or right-handed. You'll need to lift the board using both hands and turn it around so that anybody can use it. It's important to always handle the carvery joint with tear paper to avoid any contamination. You can use tear paper instead of a carving fork to steady the joint. If you're going to do this, place the tear paper over the joint and place your hand, with all your fingers visible, on top of the tear paper. Using the 10-inch red-handled serrated carving knife and the red carving fork, we're going to start carving the joint by working in a downwards motion. You need to carve around the sides to make sure that the customer is provided with a full slice and to make sure that the ham joint is carved in a manner which minimises wastage and unknown loss. You should never carve along the sides in the way that we've demonstrated now. As we move down the joint, it's important that we loosen the meat around the bone to ensure that every customer is able to have a full slice. You can do this by using a sheet of tear paper in your hand to stabilise the joint, while the other hand uses the 4-inch red serrated knife to work along the bone. Now we're going to move on to maintaining quality. As we progress through the joint, it's important that we keep the bone really clear and prevent any discoloration. You need to remove any fatty deposits should they appear as we go. So it's important we do this with the 4-inch serrated knife, working carefully and working away from you. This is one of our most important premium lines for the deli counter, so we want it to look visually appealing at all times. Once you get right to the end, you won't be able to do any more slices. You should use any remaining meat, as long as the quality is acceptable, for some sampling. This can be a great way to attract new customers when you start the fresh joint. Once you get right to the end, you can use the 4-inch serrated knife to remove any final bits of meat from the bone. You should weigh all of these final pieces, put them together and charge them at full price. Do this using the disposal sampling code. There is an allowance of 1 kilo for a carvery ham. 800 grams is devoted to the bone, while 200 is allowed for any remaining pieces that are not able to be weighed off. This would include any final bits that are stuck to the bone and you can't remove.